All right, welcome everyone to the first live stream of 2025. 2024 just go flying, and today I'm outside because I decided that I needed some fresh air. I've been doing all of these recordings on my office, and I wanted to go outside as you can see some of the environment. Right now it's a little bit cloudy, but that's fine. And the reason why I decided to go out is because we're going to be reacting to all of the different things that we did during 2024 that we believe it changed how enterprises adopted low code and how all of these changes and shifts are going to be also pushing the future of low code and AI for 2025. Now I'm going to bring my fellow amazing master of Appsmith, Joseph, to the table. Hey, Joseph, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, man?
I'm doing great. For everyone who's watching this, Joseph has been promoted to be the head of DevRel here at Appsmith, and I couldn't be more happy about this because, I mean, you know Joseph. You have seen Joseph during an entire year doing the Friday Tech workshop, building things that nobody even thought about you could do with Appsmith. So congratulations to Joseph.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, totally. So, Joseph, what are we going to be doing today is just looking back to the past and everything you did and I did during 2024 and how that impact enterprises and customers who are building with AI, building with low code, and how we're pushing the boundaries forward to the future of what you can do internally by building apps with AppSmith, right?
Yeah, we've got a ton of good, highlights from the year. I haven't watched any of them because I was, there for recording it, and you were kind of hosting and taking care of everything to upload, and so I remember some of those great moments, but I haven't actually gone back to watch them. So I'm really looking forward to this.
That's great. I think that without further ado, we should start looking at those because there's plenty of things that we did during 2024. And actually, when I was doing all of these clips, I thought like, dude, this was just a year. Like there were so many things we announced during the year, so many good things you built, Joseph, during just 1 year. It's just 12 months. And this is just the highlights that we could go through so many other things that we decided to leave outside because we want you to go also back to our YouTube channel, to the community portal, because Joseph built tons of articles. He also did a lot of videos. This is just the highlights of the things we thought were not only amazing, but also impactful for the enterprises who are building AppSmith applications that are actually transforming the way they shipped and build applications internally and with customer data. So let's go and check out the first one that I think Joseph is going to enjoy because this one was a fun one. Hey, how's everyone doing? Today we are bringing a crucial topic, which is building customer data dashboards with AI-powered charts. Customer data is often scattered across multiple systems. That's where AppSmith really comes in. Hey, Joseph, how's it going?
Good, man. Yeah, excited. We got an awesome demo for today. This is probably one of the coolest things I've ever done with AI in Appsmith.
Excellent. Without further ado, let's do it now.
This is our standard chart widget. It is really easy to use, and it all uses the same XY series format for the data. If your data is not in this format, you still only have to transform it one time, and then you can use every one of these chart types. If you need a more advanced chart type than one of the, I think we got 6 or 7 of them here, then there's custom e-charts. With e-charts now, this data structure that feeds the chart, the thing that's config that's rendering it, it's different for every chart type. There's way more options, formatting, tooltips, interactions, functions that run when you click a data point. But to get all that extra functionality, you have to write the custom config specific to that chart type. It takes a little bit of JavaScript to do all this. Man, if you've got like different tables of data and you want to use different charts, now you're just talking about like a bunch of unique combos. To make this work with any data structure, any column names, whether it's a flat table or nested data, we're going to use AI to write that function in the middle. The AI is going to give us back a function knowing the structure of our data and create any one of these chart types. Here we have a pie chart of the nationality. Here, this column is called Nat. You see this registration column? We have a date here. I'm going to try a stacked line chart with a line for each NAT showing registrations over time. Now we're getting to some more complex stuff. This would be really hard to write a function on your own to do all this. What I'm doing is sending this prompt to an AI assistant and a sample of the data. I send it like 3 rows of data just to get some context. So it can write that function knowing my field names, knowing that this is nested. Now I'm going to copy this function that it gave me back and just paste that into here, the function that's generating my chart. And there we go. We have a completely different chart type. It's created a line for each nationality. You can hover on here and see the numbers at any point. Got a number of records here from the API. Look at this, man. Isn't that cool how it'll rerun the query again and then get you back all the data and rechart it? It's like live on the fly. You can drill into your data and see it change, and then some new records get updated and you can see that chart again, and then ask it a different question and look at your data a totally different way. Let's do Sankey from status to priority.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Isn't that insane, man? Like, I can't imagine taking any random data set and then just starting to ask questions and generating this like a year or 2 ago. Just would not have been possible.
It's pretty interesting, man.
I don't know any tools that can do this between so many different chart types with no coding. Like even Tableau, you would really need to know the interface and where to click and which drop downs to pick.
Good. You have the flexibility from Appsmith to bringing whatever data structure into your charts, and now bringing the AI portion to understand exactly your data structure and the structure that the chart should be expecting on the function. So you combine this together.
Yeah, this would be great to combine with packages, especially in like a bigger enterprise org where you've got different groups, different teams that have, different accesses. They're not all allowed to access the same one, but then you'd still want either the exact same chart in those different apps, or maybe it's like the same type of chart, but it's their data. It's this department's data being fed in,
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Subscribe now. So thank you very much, Joseph. Everyone who joined, see you on the next one. Man, in case you missed it, Joseph and everyone, subscribe.
That was a good one, man. That was one of my favorites from the year.
Yeah, I remember that one. The thing that for me was really interesting is the fact that you could very easily change the type of chart. Because right now, you can go to ChatGPT and say, I need a chart like this type of chart, like a bar chart, and give me a code. It's just going to be like a very generic piece of code. It's not going to be using the data structure that you have and then analyzing the way that that particular library is expecting the JSON output. So the way that you build it is it has all of that contextual data to ask for other top chart type. And that for me was very impactful. Like when you did it just with the same prompt that you have, just say, hey, give me a Sync one, and just out of nowhere, just got the new type of chart. To me, that was very impactful, man.
Yeah. And each one of those chart types have a different data structure that's required in order to render it. So your data is in one format, and then you want to make this chart type. Well, you've got to transform the data. And now you want to do a different chart type with the exact same data. Every time you've got to transform that data and match the expected structure, whether it's a series of XY data points, or sometimes it's nested because there's multiple stack line chart, for example. So each one of those, it would be a lot of work to figure out the function and to get it in the right format. And then that only handles the one chart. And then you'd have to figure out the next function. And now you can just ask it, just tell it what type of chart you want, and it does all the work.
Yeah. And just thinking about not only the benefits for like the developer day-to-day who needs to build those things, but for an enterprise who have very complex data types. Like if we think about the complexity of data structures from any type of company who manages customer data, is scattered across multiple applications, which is what I said at the beginning. And no piece of data is equal between companies. So yeah, a library can build a chart very easily, but when you think about ingesting the structure of your data and knowing that to build a chart out of nowhere, that's for me is where I see the value for enterprises. Because yeah, it's cool to do that. We did it with a sample data, but when you actually apply that to a company who has tons of
Yeah.
data with different structure, that's where the value comes from.
Yeah, it's a very specific use case for RAG. We're providing that snapshot of the data so that the LLM knows all of the column and field names. And without that, you can tell it what type of chart. And yeah, maybe it'll give you a function, but you're going to have to change a bunch of stuff to bind it to your data, to tell it what columns to pick, And by providing that for retrieval, it's able to generate something based on your data and takes all the work out of it. It's just really effective.
Dude, you nailed it. I mean, you nailed it as usual, because the fact about building Appsmith applications that there's so many ways to integrate different integrations that the options are limitless. But sometimes to be honest, I'm blocked. Like, what can I build with Appsmith? And then you comes in with all of these crazy ideas and you just shock me, because the possibilities are endless when you can integrate literally any data source, when you have a JavaScript playground at your disposal, that you can bring any JavaScript library. And so that's the type of things that you can do with Appsmith. I think we should see the next one, because
Yeah.
I had fun on this one. I remember when we were planning for recording this one, that happened on Halloween last year.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's just funny how timely was the fact that you found a kitten that the day before that we recorded.
It was, yeah.
It was perfect.
Cat right before Halloween. My son found it. We still have him. His name's Walter.
Oh, Walter. That's a cool name. All right, let's take a look at this one.
All right.
Good evening, fellow seekers of digital enlightenment. Welcome to our haunted halls of code in this most spine-chilling of nights. I'm Kevin Blanco, your guide through the shadow realm of data-driven PDFs. Welcome, Wizard Joseph.
Hey, I've got my evil assistant here to help us resurrect the PDF. The PDFs, man, we're bringing them back to life. All right, get into work mode here.
So yeah, I mean, Joseph, the whole idea of PDF thing, it's something that we have been getting a lot of questions from the community everywhere. Discord, we get it on the YouTube videos, we get it everywhere. It's just like the format it's not dying. Like, although we have amazing artificial intelligence technology, but still people need to generate PDF for different purposes.
Yeah, and with Appsmith, you can connect to any data source or API. So once you have that PDF generation process figured out, you can feed that from anything. Any of our SaaS connectors, your internal databases, local, or any other external API. Today, we're going to look at how you can transform the data and then use the JS PDF library to chromatically generate a PDF one line at a time. So I have some sample data here, and it has some nested data. There's order ID, and then there's all of the customer data in an object, this array of items for all the line items. You got the raw data, and then you want to turn that into a PDF. And so I have this set up to where it's pulling the order info and the customer info to create some row level data for this one record. And then it shows that table, the nested data for the array of items. You click the library icon here on the left sidebar, and then the plus button here, and you'll see JS PDF is one of the suggested libraries, recommended libraries here. So one click to install it, and then you'll see it appear on the sidebar over here. You do doc equals, and then new JSPDF.JSPDF. This is an object that has methods, and one of them is to output a data URL. So you can add text to it. That's in my PDF utils, build PDF. PDF we can view now. Here we go.
Cool.
Yes. I have a function to add a header. So doc.set font size. Template literals come in real handy inside of here to concatenate some data. Add the header, make the body with the table, and then add the footer. But yeah, that's everything. The table part is really easy. So I can see everything that's happening right here, and then just look up here to adjust those two functions. Generating it on the fly, it's in memory, and you can still download it or print it or send it through an API or whatever. And shout out to Paul for asking in the community.
Joseph, thank you so much. I think we achieved our goal today. We summoned the power of generating PDFs, and I think anyone can go just now and relax and enjoy Halloween.
Nice. Hey, I'm glad you had that piece at the end there, because I was going to give a shout out to Paul anyway, from the community on Discord. So I already had a tutorial out there on how to use JSPDF, but it didn't cover the plugin, the auto table plugin, and
Right.
and I hadn't used it. I heard of it, but until Paul started asking about it on Discord, I hadn't really looked into it. And once I did, realized how easy it is to give it an array of data, and it just turns it into a table for you. You don't have to tell it to use the alternating row color or the header background color. It's got some really good defaults that just look great out of the box. And you give it the raw data of an array, and it does the rest for you. It's so easy. And I wouldn't have checked that out if it wasn't for him. So thanks,
Shout
Paul.
out again to Paul. That's the beauty of the community. Not only just creating content for them, but them actually going back to us and say, hey, I didn't like that. Can you make it better? Or hey, here's a better idea. And that reminds me that we have the 30 days of Appsmith challenge, which anyone can do, that was inspired by Sanjita, who did amazingly 100 days of Appsmith, which anyone can do still. Like if you want to do the 100 days, you can still do it. But we kept it short to 30 days in case you don't have 100 days like she did, which is a challenge just to understand how Appsmith works and get involved with the community. And we are seeing some community members already starting the 30 days of
Somebody's
Appsmith.
on their third day. Somebody just started a new one.
Yeah. And that's great. That's the value of community. And that's why we appreciate so much your feedback and leaving out comments in the different articles and videos that we put out there. As I was looking at this video, Joseph, I thought that you could actually combine the first video we saw with this one, because you could have a assistant that knows about GS to PDF and auto table, and it could create PDFs for you as it did it with the charts, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. We're doing it line by line in that last example where doc.text, and then you're adding specific line, right? But if you could just feed it the raw data and say, make this look like an invoice or a receipt or whatever you need. I might have to do that later this year. Maybe in a year we'll be reviewing that one for the
exactly
year-end roundup. So I'll have to revisit that one and add some AI to it, I think.
That'd be great. And as we were saying on the live stream, like it's incredible how PDFs are still not dying. Although people, we have all of these amazing tools, people still need to archive or for control processes. And I believe that we underestimate sometimes the document viewer widget. I don't know about you, but I feel that it has all of this power that you can just ingest the base64 encoded piece of code, and you can view it on the fly and then download it.
Yeah. And there's a lot more you can do with it. Out of the box, it's easy to use. But once you start generating PDFs from data and you can connect to any API or database, then there's just so many possibilities. Plus, you can send it back to any one of those databases or APIs. So like the source, the input data of the PDF can come from an API. You construct that and then get it looking how you want and then send it to a database, send it through an email. So tons of possibilities.
Yeah, it's true. In case you haven't noticed, in my office, I normally have a couple of guitars, but if you see Joseph's office is completely, completely insane. Like he has all of this huge amount of guitars, the drums over there. He plays the accordion. He plays a bunch of instruments. I wish I could play as Joseph does. I just play the guitar, and I'm decent about it. I mean, I don't play it as good as Joseph does. But just going back to the different things that we did in 2024, I think one of the funniest ones, which also comes back to how we are doing joint collaborations with other companies, was this one. And let me play around the way so you can see what I'm talking about. Howdy, and welcome back to another Appsmith episode. So without further ado, let me bring Joseph into the table. Let me see where he's at. All right. Yeah, Joseph. We're live, man. Joseph, we are live. All right. Well, let me see if I can call Joseph. Joseph.
All right.
Joseph, man, we're live, man.
What? Oh, man.
We're live.
Dude, I'm sorry. I lost track of time. Give me just a minute to get set up, guys. We'll get the live coding going. I'm sorry.
I bet you're playing the Super Bass track, right? Yeah, I knew it.
The new Super Bass album. I can't get it out of my head, man. Sorry, I lost track of time. All right. Sorry about that, man. I had to get one more jam in. Lost track of time. So there's this screenshot tool, screencast or showcode.app, and it's really cool. It has a free API, and so I used that, connected it to OpenAI's Assistant API, and I've got this this tool here that will generate a bunch of screenshots. So this says generate sample data for line items on the order of an order for PC parts with price and quantity, and then show me 3 examples of how to calculate the totals using a for loop, reduce, and then Lodash. So I have a title. This is the sample data slide. This is the language, and it is array of items here with some prices that we need quantities. And then it gives me back the couple of options here of how we can calculate the totals. So now I'm going to take that and send it to this showcode app API. And so that's generating each one of these and caching the results. And then lastly here, let's see, this one's PC parts. So I can save all of these to a new row here in base row. And I'm using their API, which allows you to upload files. So that's the general use case, is that I send it a prompt. It generates the raw text. I get all the images and then save it to base row for now. There's this social automation platform called Buffer that'll let you like push data to a bunch of different platforms, and they have an API. So considering maybe that is the end goal.
So we see you next week, and stay real. Have a nice weekend, and we talk next week.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Dude, that was a great one, because the fact that like you have 3 different platforms, like that's the first thing I want to highlight. Like you have OpenAI assistants, you have shortcodes, REST API to generate images, and then you have base row that you could ingest what image was generated by shortcode. So just looking at that sample that you built with just base row and shortcuts and OpenAI assistants, it demonstrates the fact that you can bring all of your data sources and make them work together, which for me is very impactful. When you think about an enterprise that has data on multiple places, like you have customer support data, and you have sales data, and you have marketing data, and all of those are in different platforms, and you can glue them together and do something useful in between. I think that's one of the key portions that we keep pushing on our message, which is like, you have all of this at your disposal.
Yeah, that one was one of the more advanced, especially from that multiple data source aspect. And in between each data source, there's transformation that's happening to structure the data, for the expected format for each API. So pulling data from the OpenAI completion when it first generated the raw text, but then that's not quite in the right format to send the show code, and then getting that back, and then wrapping that in an object and giving it like a name for the image before it gets sent to base row. So every step in there is pulling in data from different systems, transforming it to the right format. And, from that perspective, it's one of the most complex things that we've done with AI. I think the eCharts one, the code that the AI was writing might have been more complex, but it was only the one integration. It was, just OpenAI and then putting it in a chart. So this one had a lot more complexity with multiple systems involved.
Yeah, exactly. And we cannot forget to talk about the drum thing. I mean, where did that come from? Like,
I was a little out of breath there when we tried to start recording.
Yeah, I remember. We had to pause and get you to get some water, man.
Yeah.
How long have you been playing drums? Because I know it's recent, right?
Yeah, less than a year.
Learning.
Yeah, I had just got them when we recorded that.
Dude, that's honestly like decent drum playing for somebody like me, probably after 2 years of training, and you nailed it. Like, I remember you get the drum set, and 3 days after you were already playing.
I didn't pick up a guitar for probably 6 months when I first got it. I'm back to playing now, but yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah, it is. I remember you posted a tweet about you playing the guitar, right? At around that same time, was it?
It's that same super bass song. Yeah. So like that's my favorite one off of the album. For anybody that hasn't checked it out yet, last year Super Bass put out an album. It's it's all instrumental, and it's done by John, their DevRel, and it is awesome. So that intro there on the drums, I was playing along to one of his songs, and I decided to try it out on the guitar, and if you want to pull up the video, I think that one, we
Yeah.
can show that real quick too.
I think I have it around here so people can. Dude, you're owning every instrument, and you're owning the guitar, the drum set, now the accordion.
I'm still learning my way around the accordion. That thing's a beast.
It is a beast. It is a beast. I thought about starting to learn the accordion at some point, and then when I started to see found some videos online, I was like, this requires a lot of time, and I don't have that time right now. So I'll stay on that road for now.
If you've played piano before, it's a lot easier, but I haven't. And so I started learning, and everything I'm reading about, they're like, oh, play in front of a mirror so you can see the keys, and then it's easy. I'm like, well, I don't know the keys anyway. Like, so I actually ended up getting a keyboard and learning a little bit of that where I could look at it, and learn some kind of patterns and get the muscle memory. And then I was doing the same song in the mirror, and it was definitely easier after doing that. But yeah, if you haven't played piano, it's definitely hard to pick up.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't play the piano, so it's probably going to be hard for me. So the thing is, Joseph is owning the drum thing, the guitar thing, but also he owned 2024 with embracing how we do work internally because, yeah, we're trying to chip the different features and the different benefits that you have by using Appsmith at your own company. But it turns out that we also use Appsmith internally. And one of the use cases that Joseph also owned on 2024 was, as companies, we also have data across multiple systems that we wanted to track from YouTube metrics, from our community portal, from Discord, and from different places that we needed to have like a 360 view of how things are moving along with our community and how we are impacting them. And so one of the sessions that we did was how Joseph used Appsmith internally to make that happen. And let's actually see it, and then we'll talk about it.
Cool.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Kevin Blanco here, and I would like to welcome the DevRel community because this session today is special because we'll unveil some of the problems that we know all developer relations teams has, and we're going to show how do we solve it internally at Appsmith using Appsmith. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Kevin?
I'm doing good. So we have been there, right, Joseph, managing all of that data and making reports from all of those systems.
You said it. It's probably the biggest challenge that all DevRel teams face. We decided to build this tool that pulls in all that data from every different source and normalize it and make it, easy to see side by side, because a lot of the metrics are vastly different numbers. Like at first, we're looking at YouTube and it's in the hundreds of thousands of views, or tens of thousands of subscribers. And then you're trying to compare that to how much you increase on, say, the number of articles or tutorials. And that's only 2 or 3 that it's gone up in the month, and try putting those on the same graph next to each other. And it's just so skewed. Everything looks flat except for this one huge thing. So so we decided to try to pull all this into one app, normalize the data to make it easy to chart. And I'm just really excited with how it came out. All right. So everything is in just 2 charts. There's a lot of data here, a lot of insights that we're getting, but it's still pretty simple as far as presentation, just the 2 charts. You can pick a date range to search by. And right now I'm looking at the entire last month, and I can see the percent change over the entire month. How many initial and final videos that we had on YouTube, or views rather, this one's videos. And so you can see the change here when I hover. The overall change for the month was 10 new videos, which equates to about a 2% increase. But it's great being able to correlate this stuff. Like if we have an unexpected spike, that's not just that weekend thing. I can look above it and say, oh, well, that's the day or the day after we posted some video or tutorial. So I love it. It's just such a great resource, and still more we're going to add to it, but it's coming along.
Exactly. And the fact that you can, like you said, see the trends in combination, like all of those platforms combined into a single view, you can identify trends. Actually, like you can see, oh, it makes sense that here we had a spike, I don't know, maybe in a YouTube video or a community portal article we published, and we see a spike on certain other platforms metrics, and we can then see, oh, it was this article, it was this topic, and we can start also understanding why that topic, why that article, why that video had such a huge impact compared to others in terms of percentage. So I think that's pretty neat.
So this is a different format, but I think it's really cool to show, how Appsmith uses Appsmith. That's one angle. And then also just from the DevRel perspective, us working in DevRel, it's cool to share this kind of stuff and then to get feedback from the DevRel community. So we would love to hear from you, separate from Appsmith and from the technical side and building, just, do you see value in this in DevRel? What's missing? How could we make it better? And
thank you, Joseph. Thank you, everyone who joined today. Take care, and we see you in the next one. That was a fun one, and I don't know what your reaction is, but my immediate reaction that I really enjoyed it was the analysis of the data and showcasing the different colors, because like you said, maybe on this particular data range with the data that we have, this seems to be like a huge spike, but when you zoom out and you have a bigger range of data, then that particular piece of trend might not be super spiky, let's say, and the color shouldn't be that intensive. I love that thing that you did, man.
Yeah, it really helps finding those trends and correlations and, seeing how one event affects the next. If an article's published and then you see a spike, or especially when you're using like backlinks. So I'll publish a video, but then have a link in the description, and we can obviously use like a tracking link on that as well. But then you're only looking at one thing at a time, and I can go look at the results from that tracking link, but then I have to pull up another screen to see how it compares to a different event. And this just puts it all in one spot, and you can see them line up and just, see how this was published. And then we had a spike here and then more traffic, the following day. So I did use the AI chart generator to build that from the first video that we did.
That's the idea, man. I mean, that's why you build those things, to help you out. And thinking about Appsmith not only as a solution for building internal tools, but also as a developer tool. Not only you can have applications for your teams, but also for your development team, you can have like the chart generator and things like that to help you build your Appsmith app. And I think that's extremely powerful. Like the fact that you can have something that you just built once and then you can reutilize to different purposes, understanding the context of your data, is extremely powerful. And for those who use this Appsmith every day, I will encourage you to also have your own tools. And one thing I wanted to also bring, which is not something from 2024, is actually from this year, that we just announced the custom widget AI Copilot. Because Joseph is the king of custom widgets. Like, he did a bunch of custom widgets on 2024, but now you don't need Joseph. You have AI.
Yeah, sticking my job.
Sticking your job, man. No, I mean, the ideas are not from AI, but yeah, indeed. Now, if you bring a custom widget to the canvas, you will see the custom widget editor with the HTML structure, your JS libraries, your CSS, and now you will see the AI tab, where you can just talk about it, and it's going to understand the whole context of your application, your data sources, and how to generate a piece of code for the custom widget that makes sense. So it's not only that you can build developer tools for your internal systems. Now we're also bringing those features built in for, like, for example, the custom widget.
Yeah, so much easier than copying and pasting back and forth from, using whatever AI you want to generate it with, and then you'll give it a prompt and copy that and put it in the custom widget. Okay, it's kind of close, but I got to adjust this, and then you go back and give it another prompt. Well, now you can just do all that right there in the custom widget, and it maintains that context and message history. So you don't have to explain everything from the start. You can just say, change this, change that color, change, generate some mock data for it, and it picks up where you left off. So a lot faster, easier to work with, and pretty much any type of widget you want to build now, you can just chat with the AI and build it.
That's true. So in 2024, we built so many cool things that unfortunately I got arrested.
Kevin, this is the development police. We know you are inside. We need you to come out. Step away from the window and stay away from your computer. Don't try to escape, Kevin. Don't make this the hard way. It's not possible that you finish athletic so quick. Tell us your secret now.
No, there is no secret. There is no secret. Anyone can do it. I just use Appsmith. If you use Appsmith, we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
I'm not bailing you out again, man.
Thank you
You
for
stay out
getting
of
me out
trouble.
of the jail. You should be the one being arrested, man, for all the cool stuff you do, not me.
Somebody's going down.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was just for fun announcing the Appsmith Work event where we announced a lot of things last October. But at the end, it also demonstrates that the fact that we can like do all of these fun things to showcase the work that we do, it also demonstrates how trustworthy we are with the product that we have. We understand that the maturity and how solid Appsmith is for your enterprises, that we can do these fun things to bring you in and say, oh yeah, it's true. Like Kevin got arrested on that video for using like something that is extremely powerful. And I know it's like a film, like a movie, but at the end, that's the reality. Like when you have a team that's been building code from scratch for building internal tools, and actually there is this interesting stat that more than 50% of the existing code that it's been written in the entire world, 50% of that is actually for internal use. Yet I feel, and I've seen this in all the companies I have worked, unfortunately, that's where the worst software is being done internally. Like, yeah, when you have customers and you need to ship work for them, you try to do it the best way. But when it's for internal purposes, like managing your internal data, that's where the worst workflows and the work softwares I have seen in all the companies I have worked over the last 15 years. And that shouldn't be the way because it impacts your businesses. Like if you have really bad practices when managing your own customer data, and you those opportunities on how to achieve better things at working with them. So I think that this particular film is, yeah, it could be just for fun, but it also demonstrates that there is actually an opportunity for everyone out there that wants to use Appsmith for internal purposes.
Yeah, and you're right with internal tools, especially when they're just custom built with whatever stack instead of using a platform.
Yeah.
There's turnover. You know, the person that originally built it's not even there. Whoever owns it now, they might not even know how to build in that language.
Yeah.
So things just get kind of pieced on and slowly fall apart. And when you have a platform that takes care of the authentication and the data source connection and gives you the UI components and everything, then you can just focus on adding the value without having to, orchestrate all that stuff and tie it together before you can start building. So, it is that powerful. It's I can see why you got arrested.
That's true. And also one reason I got arrested is because we hear our community. There's actually a public roadmap anyone can visit in GitHub, in our Appsmith GitHub. And we hear our community in all of the features that they are needing. And one of those was packages. Like we understand, all applications you can have right now, you can have different queries to your data sources. But multiple applications might have the same need with some slight variations. It might be the same database, but the query might be a little bit different. So instead of redoing or copying and then changing that query from different apps into the same Appsmith workspace, you could have a package that receives some parameters, that does some work and some logic, and you can reutilize that in different types of applications independently from whatever data they're managing. And so that's one of the things that we want to remind right now in this recap we're doing is how we announce packages this year.
Over the last 14 years of my career, I've worn many hats, from working with digital agencies to growing startups, or from software companies to large enterprises. But across all of these experiences, one challenge has remained frustratingly constant. Most of these companies, regardless of their size or industry, struggle with maintainability and consistency in their development process. I've seen it time to time again, different teams reinventing the wheel, inconsistent coding practices across departments, and a growing mountain of technical debt. And I bet you have experienced it at some point as well. The result? Repetitive work, poor maintainability, and a development process that's more like navigating a labyrinth than building efficient solutions. All of this inevitably impact time to market and ultimately revenue. But what if there is a way to break this cycle? What if we could ensure consistency, promote reusability, and dramatically reduce technical debt across an entire organization? That is why I'm thrilled to introduce to you Packages, a game-changing feature from Appsmith that sets to revolutionize the ways we approach enterprise application development. Imagine having a central repository of reusable components, queries, and JavaScript modules that can be shared across your entire organization, adapting to each of these apps' needs. That's the power of Packages. A package in Appsmith is a collection of reusable queries and JavaScript modules. These modules can be versioned, distributed, and used across multiple applications, ensuring that your entire organization is always working with the latest, most efficient code. With Packages, you can speed up development by reusing queries, JavaScript modules, and components, ensuring consistency across all of your applications, centralize the business logic for easier maintenance, and fourth, version and distribute your code effortlessly across apps. For enterprises, Packages means more than just efficiency. They represent a new standard in application development, one that ensures consistency, promotes best practices, and allows for rapid scaling of your digital infrastructure. And this is just the beginning. In our next two videos, we'll deep dive into the power of reusable queries and JavaScript modules. You will learn how to build query packages and JavaScript modules for real business scenarios and use cases. This won't be your typical Hello World learning experience. It will allow you to learn how these package components can transform your development process. Let's start your journey now towards faster, more efficient application development.
Yeah, so we understood that Packages was one of the highly requested features from the Appsmith community, and that was launched 2024 alongside with query packages and JavaScript modules. And for this year, we are going to be announcing at some point, stay tuned, the packages for UI components. So that way you have the full spectrum of reusability at the query level, reusability of your business logic at the JavaScript level, and also reusability of the component widget level. That way you can have, like, again, the full spectrum of reusability, which I understand it is an important need, and we're getting there for sure.
Yeah, we're close. I actually saw a preview of the UI packages recently, so I know we're getting there. But even now, you can get pretty close just by using a JS package to feed the config of a widget. So
Yeah.
we don't quite have the reusability on the UI side, but if you were to take a widget and have all of its properties connected to a JS package, right, that can bring in the settings to that widget. So we're already just about there, and all of the widget properties are dynamic like that. You know, there's the on-off toggle, but then you can switch to JS mode and make that visibility or disabled state, make it dynamic and fed by something else. So soon we'll have the entire platform of packages for reusability, but really you can do it now just using a JS package to drive the widget.
That's true. You just launch an idea over there. that's why Joseph is the one that's doing all of those Friday Tech workshops and things like, the platform so much from end to end that you can think about ideas. Even though we're coming up with packages, that's a great solution over there. Well, Joseph, you're not the only one who can play instruments. You know that? And in 2024, I did something that I had fun because, I had this, request of providing some expertise around how to integrate Appsmith Business with single sign-on on Azure. And I thought about it and I was like, this is boring. Enterprise things sometimes can be boring, like configuring Active Directory and setting up the certifications and single sign-on and restarting Appsmith. And I thought about it and I was like, this shouldn't be that boring. This can be fun, and that's why I thought, you know what, I'm gonna write a song about it.
I didn't know your voice was so high when you screamed.
Dude, believe it or not, that's not my voice. I
I'm
wish I
jealous
can
of
sing
that
it.
guitar though.
Yeah, I use AI for a large portion of this song. Obviously, I wish I could sing that way, but I did created the main riff, which is very simple. It's a very basic riff. Da-na-na, da-da-da-na-na. So I record that with my guitar, and then I ingest it to this AI tool, and I said, this is the thing that I wanted to write about. I ingested portion of the song lyrics that I already had, and then it created like the drums and the whole thing. So yeah, obviously AI is owning it on multiple branches of the creative spectrum. But again, it's a tool, just like a tool that is helping customers and companies build platforms like what Appsmith AI is launching. AI is pretty much a tool set. I don't see it as replacing us completely, but I do see it as a powerful mechanism that anyone can use to embrace powerful solutions. Like I created a song, but I could be an enterprise needing to build an amazing platform. I don't have the expertise, but we have Appsmith AI at your disposal. You don't have to put any API key or any type of integration, and you can do code generation, you can do image manipulation, you can do categorization. There's so many things you can do in Appsmith AI, and all of that is on our YouTube channel. And we're going to be launching this 2024 amazing solutions on the top of AI and low code. But long story short, yeah, I had fun doing that song. I remember.
Yeah, came out great, and you managed to make enterprise SSO not boring. So
that was the idea.
uh,
And I wish I have that voice. So the last one we wanted to recap on this live stream, and thank you for all of us who were watching right now, is workflows. Workflows was another big feature that people requested a lot. And to me, workflows is one of those things that I loved about 2024 because there's so many things you can do. I actually went to Calgary to speak over there at a developer festival, and I presented a solution that was very simple. Actually, it took me, I don't know, man, like 1 hour to build, which is basically you have all of these companies losing money every year by fake invoices. Like literally, people send fake invoices to Google and Facebook to see if they actually catch it, and they do. Companies spend around 5% of their annual income. I mean, picture 5% of your annual income just lost on fake invoices. That's huge. And coming back to how poorly internal processes and internal software is, that's why this type of things happen. So I built a workflow that basically gets the invoices, is going to be using a financial model that is on Vertex AI to kind of find things that are could be potentially a fake invoice. There's models out there, open source models that you can use, which also Joseph did a lot of videos on how to self-host Appsmith and run it with your own models. You can do that with Olama and multiple things that Joseph did during the year. And I encourage everyone to go to our YouTube channel. But in this one particular, I use a model garden from Vertex AI. And then after that, I will compare that invoice to the master service agreement, that there should be a contract for each particular contractor. And then that will save the financial team so much time just to say, yeah, this invoice seems particularly right based upon the comparison with the Vertex AI model and with the master agreement, or not. This seems to be faulty. Go and check it out. Probably you're going to be paying somebody that is actually a right contractor. That was just one use case for workflows, but there's so many things that you can do with workflows. I know you did a lot of them, right, Joseph?
Oh yeah, I think we had at least 3 or 4 different demos on it last year. I know I did the refund approval one there, and that's
right.
Kind of related because it's also trying to avoid extra charges from fraudulent activity, people maybe abusing a return policy. So this is able to look at how many previous returns they had, what's the amount of it. And I think yours goes right along with that. It's about the bottom line and saving a company money, not just on the work hours that it's saving you, but on finding those things that are costing you more money from fraud. So really good use case.
Yeah, I see workflows to be a great use case because also it can run at any particular time that you want. Now we have the workflows scheduling feature, which you can have workflows running every hour or every night, and see if you can validate any of these particular things that we're mentioning and beyond. Like there's so many use cases for workflows that I'm running out of ideas. But let's see the video, because we also presented the agency, which is the concept of how Appsmith can be perceived from different people at a digital agency, the project manager, the backend developer, the frontend developer. And I want to bring the agency back to this 2025 because there's multiple use cases for the agency. But let's meet the players and see how they did with workflows.
That's me, Kevin. I successfully implemented Appsmith internally here at the agency.
Hey buddy, we just got a new ticket from the project manager. It seems that we got all tags missing description. Don't look at me, buddy. You are the one who wanted to use Appsmith to reduce technical debt. I'm just here to estimate some tasks, buddy.
He's frontend. He can be really cocky, but he's a nice guy. Still not convinced about Appsmith, but we'll get there.
Yeah, but it's for the main front website which you developed. Again, man, not my problem. Hey, here comes the PM. Hey devs, Kevin, frontend.
Oh yeah, that's project manager. He thinks 9 women can deliver a baby in 1 month, but he get pics of Ross.
I just added a new ticket to this sprint. Now, I know it's not ideal, but we owe it to the stakeholders, and this should have been working already. Yep, we saw it, but shouldn't marketing or the client enter the description manually for each tag? I mean, that's why we built the app for it. Well, there are tons of tags created each day. We can't expect them to do that themselves. Can't you just do some magic of that thing that you do writing code and make it work? I can buy some pizza for tonight.
What did I tell you?
Yeah, tell your Appsmith magician to fix it. Alright, let me figure something out and I'll let you know. So you need the help from the master.
That's backend. He hasn't bought clothes in years with the swag he gets from conferences.
I'm kidding, man. What did you need? So the PM shows open a new ticket about the tag description being empty on hundreds of them in the database. I'm not sure I can help you with that. I just built the backend APIs. No, I get it, but how hard is for you to create a couple of API endpoints? One to get the tags with no descriptions and the other one to update a single tag description in the database. You surely can. I definitely can, and don't call me Shirley. Yeah, PM, create a ticket for me, and Kevin, I'll send you the documentation as soon as it's done. So what I'm going to use is Appsmith workflows to get the tag with no description, and then use Appsmith AI to generate a description for each tag. Then update the database with the AI generated description using the Patch API. Finally, we're going to use a cron job every day to update all of the descriptions during the night so no one has to worry ever again about this. Easy peasy. If you use AI and automation for this, the stakeholders will love you.
That was awesome, man. I think
That was
was
awesome.
the one that you did that was, more of a movie style or storytelling. Was that the first one?
I think that was the first one. Yeah, I tried to think outside of the box for that one, and just not cringe about myself. It's kind of hard sometimes when you hear your own voice and see your own self on a particular video. And I think that was one of the first ones that I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it, and I think it came out pretty well. Honestly, I also hated the project manager myself. Not a nice guy, but sometimes that's that's the way it goes with.
Did you end up getting that pizza?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, I think I should get a
Find
pizza
that
next month.
PM.
Yeah, they promise pizzas and sometimes they don't even deliver the pizzas. But outside of the film, which I was inspired by my favorite film. One of my favorite movies is Snatch. It's a movie by Guy Ritchie, one of my favorite directors. And I have the intro of that particular movie, so you can see it. I don't think it was a copycat, but I will say it was an inspiration. I've seen that movie like 10 times because I really enjoy the cinematography and how Guy Ritchie manages like his films, and he has done some cool stuff on Netflix recently that people can see as well. But anyway, just going back to the feature itself, the, the fact that you can still have all of your integrations, all of your data sources, Appsmith AI, and the JavaScript environment, but to run it on a particular piece of a time, it is extremely powerful, and that's why workflows is for me the biggest highlight of 2024.
Yeah, and it runs on the server, so you don't have to have a specific, person opening the app, having to open in the browser. It's just going to happen in the background. You can trigger it on a cron job with a schedule. You can trigger it from a webhook. So like an external system, say somebody adds a new lead in Salesforce or HubSpot, that can trigger it. Or you can trigger it from another app, and then that works out with the human in the workflow or human in the loop workflows where you've got approver. So you've got some human oversight, but you still get the automation. You can take advantage of, doing multiple steps automatically, but then have it pause and wait for somebody to review to make sure it's ready for that last step.
Yeah, you did some I remember human in the loop workflows videos, which again, it showcases the different ways you can integrate workflows, like you mentioned. The one that you can trigger from an app is also great because, like you mentioned, for any action that you have on your Appsmith app, you could have at some point a workflow running behind the scenes, doing auditing, doing whatever you think. There's so many use cases for workflows triggering from an app, but also triggering from an external system as a webhook. The use cases are endless, to be honest, with workflows.
Yeah. Another good one is by moving that logic to the server, you don't have to worry about the end user, clicking submit and closing the browser or switching pages real quick. Because if you're trying to chain together 5 APIs from that one button click and the user closes the tab right away, right? If all that logic is on the client side, they could terminate it too soon, But if you're just invoking a workflow, then click the button and let the server take over. All that logic's on the back end, so it's more performant, but it's also going to be more secure, reliable, so you don't have to worry about it stopping halfway through because they switched pages or closed the browser.
Yeah, that's true. And you still have the Appsmith layer. What I mean by that is you can still access the roles, the permissions, the users at the workflow level. So you can have custom business logics, not only integrating systems, but also depending who triggered that workflow, what type of role they have, if they belong to a specific group. So again, that's why for me, 2024 workflows was the highlight, and I continue to brag about it with multiple people, and I want to continue building use cases with workflows for 2025, and integrating with the AI stuff that will announce soon. And I want everyone to be extremely heads up because big things are coming up when it comes to AI and Appsmith.
Yeah, the custom widget copilot to me is a close second. But I think workflows are definitely the most powerful feature that we had, in the last year. And when you combine them and the Appsmith AI assistant, there's just so many possibilities. And it's taken a lot of that work out, by letting the AI do it. But you can still automate things. You can still connect to all your data sources, and you're not back and forth, copying and pasting code from your AI into Appsmith. It's just right there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Joseph, I think we're coming to an end. We've been here about an hour. Hopefully no one's been bored so far because it was an amazing ride going back and seeing all the things we did in 2024. The craziness, the arresting, the films, the craziness with all of the AI integrations that you did on Friday Tech Workshop. So I encouraged you to go back to YouTube and also see other things that we didn't talk about in these conversations, but it also happened. So many videos, so many articles. So go back and take a look at those. But I think we should close up right now, Joseph.
Sounds good. Well, let's do some more craziness, some more music videos this year, more AI.
Yeah, we're going to be in person in a few weeks, Joseph and I and the whole Appsmith thing. We're cooking some stuff. So we want to produce things that we can go back in 2026 and say, dude, we were insane. So we heads up for some spicy things that we're cooking in the next couple of weeks.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any comments or feedback, join the community portal, subscribe to our channels, go to the Discord chat, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye. Take care.